Okay, so this week's parsha is Parshas Behar, and what's incredible about this teaching is that there are certain halachas that we learn about in this week's parsha, and the Rebbe learns a lesson from these halachas from the Hasidic perspective, which completely combines halacha and Tanya. So everything that we learn about a Beinoni, when you teach Tanya and you say, oh, there's a tzaddik, a Rasha, and Beinoni, and then people who are hearing it for the first time, they're like, no. Like, I know tzaddik, Rasha, and Beinoni completely different than the Tanya's definition of tzaddik, Rasha, and Beinoni. But in this teaching, we're going to see how the Tanya's definition of tzaddik, Rasha, and Beinoni in halacha. So it's like completely, absolutely.
Owen.
Absolutely.
No, I've been struggling, and I feel like in the past I would have gotten just either feeling of hopelessness or like I'm not good or but I'm just like, no, I understand what's going on. Like the animal soul wants this and my shaman wants this, and it's okay.
So
And
this
it's like it feels so like empowering, like okay, in this moment, I don't have to think about the future, I don't have to think about like a major decision right now. I just have to make the right in this moment. I have to make the right choice.
Wow.
And I just feel
That
so
you
much.
have that mindfulness is huge.
It just feels so much more
That you can think of
doable.
that. Wow. Right.
So this teaching is exactly what you're saying. It's exactly what you're saying, and it's gonna expand. It's gonna expand on this. That just because I had a bad day or a bad, interaction with someone, I could still, I could still move on, and I could still get back on track very quickly and very easily. Okay. So first we're going to take and thank you for sharing, because that's huge. First, we're going to learn 3 halachos. And these 3 halachos are going to end up representing the tzaddik, Rasha, and Beinoni. Okay. So in Parshas Behar, we have this concept called a kinyan. You know, a kinyan from a chuppah, from a wedding, from a l'chaim, right? They tell the kala, lift up the gartel, lift up the yarmulke, we're making a kinyan. So in halacha, in order to make a transaction between 2 people, at what point is the transaction done and you can't take it back unless both parties agree? So there's this whole concept of transferring ownership, and there's different halachas regarding different things. If it's a movable object, if it's a field, there's different halachas that are all spoken about in this week's parsha about transferring ownership. Okay, so there are 3 halachas that we're going to talk about that the Rambam brings. Number 1, one cannot transfer ownership of something that doesn't exist yet. Which means I can't say to you, I want to sell the fruits that this tree is going to produce next season. So we could talk about it. We could, I could say, look, I'll sell you the fruits that are gonna be produced on this tree next season. However, there's no halachic binding.
So the story in the army of someone that I heard and I forgot what Revelation is, and said, promise that if you have a child, you're giving it over to this and this couple. And that's what happened. She was having healthy kids. Someone else. Someone else. Like maybe before the child was, I think, even conceptualized. She kept on having this fish because she didn't have a child. And a rabbi told her, promise to give it to someone else when you give birth. Like I think it's to the couple. Let them adopt it, and you'll have another child.
I think I remember reading this also.
And that's what happened. She said, a grandmother today, Williamsburg, but she's healthy and she's alive. What happened to that kid? It was automatically adopted by some. She's
See,
a family
someone-
holiday, so
she-
she did automatically like pass it down.
It was a very hard story to understand. I remember like not liking the story. No, like, it didn't sit with me. I'm like, okay, I'm brushing over the next topic.
Oh,
No,
my.
it doesn't make sense.
It's like, yeah, like you're not in the situation, like how are you giving up your child, like. of course
Also, how are you
have
giving away your
kids.
child? Someone else?
Yes, but that was the only way, maybe. there's
Okay,
something
it's-
behind that, but, I mean, there's more to the story.
I think that sometimes we read these stories and like, I feel like maybe we don't, the writer writes them like, I would say
Yeah,
something.
but someone wrote in this passage.
Yeah?
Wow.
Oh my God.
Some
information was left
in,
I think.
You know.
Right, that's the same.
I'm definitely missing something.
I know, because I know someone, I'll tell you, I know someone that her story was written and someone current, she had the story and they came to her and they wrote her story and she said she herself was upset because they do that, they tweak it, sometimes there's no information, it's a missing piece here.
Ay.
Yeah.
It's the only way you know who to child, you give that child over to. what you want.
Against-
They don't.
I remember reading it and saying, I remember saying like,
Right.
They say they want to, I mean, they want to.
But it's very interesting because I'm saying,
You have a choice, but you have.
I don't know the choice, it's
Sounds like-
She basically cannot have health
it's
care.
trauma, it's twice trauma.
The baby,
The mother also, the baby
You have
also.
the great grandmother.
Imagine like, you're not gonna be, you're not gonna get a baby,
Wow.
you can have
Okay,
it.
anyway, I'm sorry to have-
okay, no, it's very interesting because in halacha, if you see, because in the story that you're saying, so the Rebbe, there was a Rebbe that said, you'll have a healthy child if you give your child to someone else to raise. Okay, maybe that it seems like it's like a not a regular situation, right? But in halacha, if you own a slave, according to halacha, you to tell someone else that I will sell to you this slave's offspring. Okay, so according to halacha, if the woman is visibly pregnant, then there's actually a baby there. Then that could be, then you could make a kinyan. That could be possibly something that would take hold. But if the woman is not pregnant, or let's say an animal, to say, I sell the offspring I'm going to sell to you the future offspring of this animal, and the animal's not pregnant yet. Does that take hold or not? Is that binding or not? Is that a kinyan or not?
Didn't the promise Yahweh that he could have all the animals that were birthed from that animal, whatever, and he was upset that he had too many animals, something like that?
He kept changing the schar, he kept changing the reward. The animals that were born like this will be your reward. Yeah.
Saying according to this, if you can't promise before they're born or whatever, then maybe this thing was legitimate.
So he was gifted. So okay, so he was paying him. He said to the animals that will be. Yeah. So I'm saying this whole I'm saying that was before the Torah was given. So again, things were different then as well. But I'm saying it's a halachic thing. It's a halachic thing with regards to produce, with regards to a field, with regards to the crop of a field, the fruit, animals that will be born.
To build a building. Yeah, what about that? It's like they do all the time.
Or how about yeah. So a business. Invest in my business, and then I'm going to give you half of the money that I make or whatever it is. So it's a real question.
Yeah.
So
So the bottom line is that Rebbe said you're not supposed to promise something until it's physically in front of you, or you have to.
so according to halacha, it's not a real transaction, which means that either party could back out.
A bit of a pledge, like we said, to a show. Like you.
Okay. So pledge to show, that's a third concept. We're not there yet.
Okay.
That's one of the three.
Like a pledge to the shul, like I'm gonna give to the building fund, like people all the time, like I'm gonna give,
Or you say, Hashem, if this business deal goes through, I'm going to give 10% to tzedakah.
Right.
That's a future. I don't have that money in front of me
Right.
now. So that's the third case. Okay, well, back to the first case. The first case is that generally speaking, I cannot transfer ownership of something that doesn't yet exist. So basically, I'm saying unless two people, they make a binding agreement that even if, even if there no fruit grow or whatever it is, we're still, if both parties want it, then fine. But if one person wants to back out at any time, even after the fruit, even after the fruit are produced, you could still back out. You could say, let's say I say, you know what, I'm going to sell to you the fruit of this tree. And I'm thinking, and I sell to you for $100, thinking that this apple tree is going to produce 100 apples. Then comes the next season, and guess what? My apple tree produced 500 apples. So really, it's worth $500, right? So now either party I could say, look, you pay me too much, you pay me too little, whatever it is. You could take it back even after the fruit are on the tree because the transaction never really held. Because you are promising or doing something that this doesn't exist yet. That's number one. It's not a done deal. It's not a done deal. And the same applies to the shearings of a sheep. I say, okay, when the next season, when I shear the sheep, okay, then I'm going to give you all the wool. But again, the wool didn't grow yet. So it doesn't exist yet. So I can't halachically transfer ownership to something that doesn't yet exist. That's halacha number one. Okay. Halacha number two is, this is a little bit of a twist. I can sell to you the future assets of this tree or of this sheep, of this animal, of this business, whatever it is. How can I do this? If I sell to you the tree for its fruits.
For the tree you can.
So I'm selling you the tree for its potential, for the fruit. So you can't have the tree for everything, which means you can't chop down the tree. You can't build a tree house in the tree. But what I'm selling to you, I'm selling the tree only for only for its potential, only for the fruit. I own the tree, but you own the tree with regards to its produce. So it's an interesting spin. If the tree burns down, I own the wood. And I could build, and it's my real estate, which means that you can't say, oh, this piece of land belongs to you. No, only the tree for the potential, for the produce, that's it. And the same thing is with a field. I'm selling the field with regard to the future produce. I'm selling the field for the future produce, for the crop. That's it. But the field still belongs to me. I'm selling the sheep with regards to the shearings, or I'm selling the animal with regards to the offspring. The animal still belongs to me. I'm just selling to you the potential that this animal could give birth. So, which means you can't kill the animal. If you're hungry, you can't make a barbecue and eat it. You shecht it. It's still, the animal belongs to me. What I'm giving to you is the potential of this animal, the potential offspring that I could sell to you.
How is it different from the first one?
Because the first one, I only want to sell the fruit. I'm only talking about selling the fruit, selling the actual thing that doesn't exist. Here, at least, if I sell you the tree, I'm selling you the tree for the potential of the fruit. At least there's something here. At least the root, at least the root of where it's supposed to come from, at least that exists.
I'm hearing a question because they're not getting fruit either way.
What do you mean you're not going to get the fruit either way?
Say that you can't sell the
Yet
potential
having
for
the fruit. They're not
And
yet.
he's also not getting the
No, but
tree
it's
staying with the
different.
owner.
Right.
Why?
We're not talking about what happens in a case, like if there's fruit or not, we're just saying that
There's a
it's
potential.
different.
I'm selling you this. with
One person
potential.
wants to sell you fruit, but there is no fruit.
Right, that's not like.
They're selling you the tree with the potential.
So,
Not
but
selling
you're
the
saying
tree.
that the tree still,
selling the
but I'm
potential.
confused, you're saying the tree still stays with him.
Yes.
Oh,
In both
does it?
cases.
So-
Yeah, so
Wow.
like.
No, 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 no.
I
I'm selling you the tree. The tree belongs to you for the purpose of the
You're
fruit.
saying you still, but the fruit's not there yet either.
The fruit's not there yet
They're
either,
both
but
not
at
there
least
yet.
they're both not there yet.
And the guy still
So
has.
you are now selling them the tree. But
But-
you
For
can
this-
only
for this
use
line.
it for this. The rest
But-
of it belongs to
There's
you.
no potential either, the fruit didn't come out yet.
The fruit didn't come yet, but there is potential for fruit.
Okay, both of them have potential for fruit.
But the first one, if I say I'm only going to sell you the fruit, you have nothing to hold on to. There's nothing that exists right now.
There's no like,
You're not getting, you're not getting the tree, the owner's getting the tree for the wood, you said.
Yeah,
So you're saying
Yeah.
nothing
Very
else.
slight difference.
it's a slight difference. It's
Yeah.
just a little twist.
Yeah.
It's just a little twist.
Potential.
Because he's saying that the tree is mine, that's the difference?
I'm giving you, yes, you own the tree for the fruit, only for the fruit. You can't own the tree for shade. You
Right.
can't own the tree for another purpose. You can't own the
So
tree
the other
to,
one is saying you're just getting fruit, no fruit.
right. Or I'm saying I'm selling to you, not the tree. I'm selling to you the fruit that's going to be produced next season.
That's just the way they're saying it, it's the same concept.
It's
just
a
the
little
wording.
bit different. The
wording.
difference is one thing is
It's the wording in the contract. you said.
yes.
What was
One
the
thing is
contract?
Kenyan. I'm giving you I'm giving you the ownership of the fruit,
Mhm.
or I'm giving you the ownership of the tree for the purpose of the fruit. It's just a little bit different. You're right. Okay.
Yeah.
We're all gonna see it.
At the end, this is going to be talking about different people.
Okay.
Okay. And now comes the third concept, which is what you said. What happens if I say I'm going to give 10%? If this deal goes through, I'm going to give 10% to tzedakah. The 10% doesn't exist yet. So could I go back on it? Can I take it back? Like, is there any am I beholden to what I said? Because it doesn't really exist yet. And what do you think the answer is? The answer is yes. The answer is yes, although the money doesn't exist yet. But just the fact that you said it, true, it doesn't exist yet. But you gave your word. You made that vow, or you gave your word, and whatever you say, you have to keep. So now it's true. There's no kedusha. You can't say this money is holy. If I say, oh, this money I'm gonna give to the Beis Hamikdash. This money isn't holy because this money doesn't exist. But the obligation falls on the person because I said that I'm going to do it. I have to do it because I gave my word. So these are the three different cases. Okay. Now we're going to take this and we are going to learn a lesson from Chassidus for how to serve Hashem. And in general, the entire Torah, every halacha that we find, it's not just halacha. Oh, you twisted, you changed the words a little bit, or do the same thing. No, every single thing is really, really a lesson for our service of Hashem. This entire concept of ownership, right, of a transaction. I owned it, now I'm transferring the ownership to you. The concept of transferring ownership is basically what we're here for. It's basically our mission. As it says, Ani nivresi l'shamesh eskaini. I was created to serve usually we say my creator, my maker, but it doesn't say Ani nivresi l'shamesh es It doesn't say I was created to serve my creator, but it says eskaini. What does kaini come from? Kaini from koneh, to acquire, to buy. So I am created to serve my owner, to serve my buyer. So basically, yes, Hashem created me. So the thought process is Hashem created me, but now I have free choice to do whatever I want to do. But my mission is that yes, I have free choice. I have my free choice, but my mission is that on my own, I should say, I want I want to give myself over to Hashem, that Hashem, you own me. I'm giving yes, you created me, but now in addition to that, I'm giving myself over to you, that Hashem, you're my buyer, you're my owner, I belong to you.
If the Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim for us to serve him. It says,
Yeah.
What are you saying, Shema?
In Az Yasher we say, Am zu kanisa. This nation, you purchased it, you bought it, you own it, it's yours. Not only did Hashem create, the whole world, but from the whole world, Hashem, so to speak, takes ownership of the Yidden. It says also when Mashiach comes, it says Likkutei esher amai, that Hashem is going to purchase, to buy, to own the rest of the nation. Hashem is going to take ownership of his nation. On Friday, we had this beautiful Lag BaOmer event in Lakewood, and my kids went to Cheder with a driver, and I took our van. I was going to meet them at the park and exchange cars with the driver, whatever it is. I'm running around looking for raincoats and umbrellas and thinking, this is crazy. It is pouring rain. I have no idea what it's going to be. And I'm in the car, and there are 10 Bacharim that came, and they're drenched to the bone. They only came with their shirts. But last thing, please go get 10 PLS sweaters. We still have some sweaters from Pashka the Sichos and the Hakel year. Get a box, 10 PLS sweaters. At least the Bachrim should somehow, at some point, be able to change. They're drenched to the bones. I have the sweaters. I have all the kids with jackets, whatever it is, and I'm driving to thing. And I'm speaking to my husband. I say, I'm sure you're stressed out, but how do I get there? What's the address? Whatever it is. And he tells me, I'm not stressed out. Hashem, there is nothing that I can do. There's absolutely nothing I can do. That morning, he went to the mikvah. He wrote a letter to the ayal to ask for a bracha that the weather should cooperate, etc., etc. And at this point, he's not nervous. He's like, Hashem is in charge. Hashem is the owner. Hashem is in charge of the weather. There is nothing I can do, and therefore I am not nervous. I was like, okay. And I come there, and it's still plucking. I'm thinking maybe I should drive somewhere and get more umbrellas, whatever it is. And my husband, they're all drenched, and my husband says, so we had a big huge umbrella in the car. He took the umbrella, and he said, we're gonna start by 2:30. Well, we're still, by 2:30 for sure, it will stop raining. And by like 2:20, the rain completely stopped, and you have to see we sent videos of all the beautiful pictures, the videos, but they put the chairs upside down. They put the whatever, but you see the before and after. It's completely deserted. There's not one person there. You just see dripping Bachram putting upside down chairs, and you have the stage and the music and Lipa Schmelzer comes in his car, but that's it. There's nothing happening. And then all of a sudden, the sun comes out. It dries up, like you could never even tell that it was raining. And kids, yeah, it was hot. And kids, and it was in a different park. It was in Oakenbine area. The kids were like walking, like they could just walk over. Yeah. We never had such a big event. I turned around, I saw so many people, I couldn't believe it. And the sun is shining, and you're like, Hashem is the owner, But you have, I have to tell you, I didn't believe that it was going to stop. And Leah was next to me. She's like passing me a phone. She wrote a letter to the ayal on my phone. She says, "Ma, it was me. I got it." Whatever. But anyway, so that's what it means. But you have to give yourself over and to say, Hashem, not just Hashem created me, and now, but to give myself over, Hashem, you own me. That's what it means. It says so. B'chlal, the whole purpose of what we're doing here is to show Hashem, you own me. Hashem, you own everything I have. Everything that I have belongs to you. That it's a different mindset. It's a different mindset when everything that I have belongs to Hashem. So if someone asks me for tzedakah, it's not mine to keep. This is also like the lesson of when we do our freshest challah. We take a separate piece of challah and basically showing that everything that we have, it's not mine. It's not mine. It belongs to Hashem. We separate a piece for Hashem. I remember when I was a camp counselor, how old was I? 10th grade, 11th grade. So the kids were fighting over a bunk bed. You know, the first day of camp, everyone needs a bed. So one kid says to the other kid, it's not mine, it's not yours, it's the Rebbe's, you know. Neither of us own it. It belongs to the Rebbe. It's the Rebbe's camp, it's the Rebbe's bunk bed. But it's this concept of Hashem owns everything. And therefore, even if I have a toy or whatever it is, it's not meant for me to just have for myself, but rather it's for me to share, because I don't own it. Hashem gifted it to me to share with you.
Something though gets lost. That's how I feel. I want to give Hashem from myself, I don't want to feel like it's his anyway. So how do I fix that? Yes, but if it's not mine anyway, how? I want to give it
gave it to you to.
I know, but I want to give. If it's not mine anyway, how am I giving?
You mean with money?
You're being
Anything.
The way I
Right.
use the money, like Hashem is
It's like tapping into that.
gives
He
gives you money. He's literally lending the money to be used as that and to give.
Yes.
Because
That's
It's
not,
not
I
this
think it's
way
no
that
different than having clothing.
Positive ownership, but
Like
if someone has a
the
problem.
money that
just
Hashem
know
is
it's not
attracting
yours.
people's time.
Right.
Again, I'm gonna give it to you. I don't think it's clothing. I mean, because I used to give a different kind of money than like for money.
If I don't have it anyway,
It
it's
makes
not
sense?
mine, how am I giving?
Because it's like, because there's a different concept of stuff about money and a different concept of getting your basic needs. Because
No, but
Hashem said to give what-
Oh, it's mine, it says. Everything is Hashem's, and Hashem gave this to me. Hashem gave this to me, so like whatever, it's true, Hashem gave you whatever, Hashem didn't give everyone the same, if Hashem gave
Right.
everyone the same, then it
Right.
would be like you can't give whatever, but
Right.
he gave you
If-
such unique
If
circumstances.
he's the owner and I don't have a choice anyway,
You do
I
have.
feel like.
That's the
I feel like
Behar
I'm
and the
losing.
Hashem
Yes.
wants the choice gonna do, you know,
Yeah.
Hashem is bigger, is
I
not
don't
limited by
wanna
our
give them.
space
You
and
know
then
what I'm saying?
What's
okay.
what would be even like in the basic picture,
Like-
people, what?
Like Hashem, you gave
Most
this
of
to
the
me.
kid was,
And I
the
have a
concept was
choice if
fail
I
in
can
the
give it to you or
Torah.
not.
There was always a
And I'm
concept of
choosing
fail.
to give it to you,
Right,
is what
so
I'm trying to
I
say.
feel like I grew up learning
Yeah.
that.
Choice, you are doing choice.
Yeah,
I grew up learning that Hashem doesn't need us.
right.
He doesn't need
I
you.
know, they're so afraid to say that Hashem needs
But
us.
here,
Because
it's
it's different.
different.
Yeah,
Hashem does need you.
yes.
He needs you in your
I know.
human body, your neshama in your human body to,
I know that.
he does need it.
Hashem doesn't need us. Like,
It's
I
a
mean,
no,
that's the right
doesn't
thing.
need it's lack.
We
Hashem doesn't
need him.
lack anything.
We
It's not
need
his
him.
need because he lacks something. That's our. When
We're
we
not
say
lacking
person needs something
anything.
because I lack something, I need to you. Hashem doesn't lack, but he set it up this way. He needs us to be something here, but it's not he's lacking anything
Not
because.
because us.
But he wants us to work
But
together.
he,
It's a very hard time.
Here,
Hashem
so
not
like,
lacking anything.
Here's a story. Here's a story that explains what you're saying. There's a story there was an individual who always gave tons of tzedakah. Every time the rabbi needed money, he would go to this rich guy. He would give money. After 30 years, one day the rabbi comes and says, "I need a big amount of money, whatever it is," and the rich man says, "You know what? Ask someone else. I mean, I've been giving you all this time." He said, "Ask someone else." So, and then after that, slowly but surely, his business goes. So he comes running to the rabbi. He says, "What did you do? You cursed me? One time I didn't give you in 30 years, and then they said I have to lose all my fortune." So he said, "I'll tell you what. It's very simple. Before our neshamas, before either of us were born, Hashem said you're going to be the rabbi, and you're going to be the rich person who's. Hashem said this. Hashem told me you're going to be the rabbi, and I said, how am I going to do it? How am I going to take care of all the people, all their needs?" Hashem said, "Don't worry. I'm going to give you a rich person in your community, and he'll help you with the money." So the second that you're not helping me, then the money is going to come from somewhere else. Then Hashem doesn't have to give you the money. The whole reason why you got the money is in order to help the rabbi, whatever it is. But I feel like it's not just. I feel like it's not just with money. I feel like it is with everything. Okay, so here I'm going to go personal because I always go personal. But yesterday,
Hashem gives you all these experiences.
yeah. Okay, this was a tough one for me.
Explain it a bit more how that is Hashem
Okay, so here you go. Okay, so basically someone on I don't know which forum said that they have 160 cheers that they're willing to donate for free. So my husband said yes, he wants it because our cheers were very worn out, and another shliach wanted 60 cheers. Anyway, the end is my husband hired a truck to go and pick up the cheers from wherever they were, and thought we were getting 100. We got more than 100. I don't know how many cheers actually came. These beautiful red and gold cheers arrive, and they're all over the porch. These cheers. So one of the guys got really excited. He liked the cheers very much, and this past Sunday he made it his mission that he is going to help us clean that porch. He's going to bring guys to come and power wash and make it beautiful. And it was an entire day project from the morning to the night. And they put some chairs in the basement, and only can keep some chairs. He has a dumpster. He lives near our house. He has a dumpster outside of his house because he's doing construction. Throughout the lifetime, tables that had holes in it from fires, from Shabbos candles, whatever it is. He dumped any garbage, whatever it is, big garbage, mattresses that was sitting there, whatever, which was a big favor. But not one. Okay, the porch is the place where I dump all the stuff that I don't want in my house. So all the boxes, all the cleaning supplies, all the half-started bottles of water, the car seats, the jackets that belong to other people that no one ever claimed. It's not a garage. It's a big, huge wraparound porch, huge. And we have Kiddush here in the spring and in the summer, but there's always a pile of whatever everywhere. The paper towel, toilet paper, tissues, everything gets stored over there. It's like, that's where you just shove stuff. And all of a sudden, all the stuff and boxes that people donate of books, all that now is in my house. Sometimes when you just move the location of the junk, whatever. And it's so clean and perfect now that I told the cleaning lady came today, I said, nothing is going back on that porch. And I don't know, maybe the timing wasn't right. I don't know exactly, but basically I was like, I didn't, it was before I even touched this teaching. And I said, and also a couple of stuff that was very important to me got thrown out because everything that my husband said, garbage. And all of a sudden I said to my husband, I saw this guy holding the base of the doona, and now the base of the doona is in the dumpster, whatever it is. So I was like a little bit, not that I need the doona right now, but just whatever, I was a little bit annoyed. But anyway, basically I said, now that this guy came and cleaned this porch that you could like literally lick the floor, I said, now he basically took ownership of the porch. Like, those are the words that I used. Wow. And I was like, yes, it's gorgeous, but now Chabad has just purchased another huge piece of, an extension to the shul, and those are the words that I use. And okay, I'm saying right now in the middle of chasna preparations and all the other logistics, whatever. And so I'm saying it wasn't exactly the perfect day when the other things that, all the other errands didn't work out, et cetera. Like it wasn't like the perfect day for me to start finding a new location for the toilet paper and the paper towel, et cetera. But I'm saying it's not money. No one took money from me. And he replaced the fence and it's gorgeously clean and everything like that. But for some reason, I'm always like, whatever. Like another person would say, thank you. That's so kind of you. And it really, really is. He trimmed the trees and he took away the tarp that was on the jacuzzi outside and whatever else. And he really cleaned up the whole area and it's spick and span and it's gorgeous and stunning and threw out the bikes there on the porch, whatever it is. But from the negativity place inside of me, I'm like, okay, but now what's the price I have to pay for it? I can never put another bingo box on this porch now. You know what I'm saying? So whatever. That was yesterday. So I'm saying it's ownership. It's not just money, but the right perspective is to say, listen, this entire house and this entire reason why I'm even living here is because we're Chabad Shluchim. And this area is used for every Shabbos now for Kiddush. for Kiddush, and everything that I have belongs to Hashem and to the Rebbe, and really, really does, because we know, we never had the money for this. It's all Hashem's brachas and miracles. And thank you very much that someone came out of the goodness of their heart and got a few guys to help him and really made this so beautiful. Like why can't I have that attitude? And maybe I don't know, whatever, work in progress. But
Don't speak. I don't want anyone to touch my space. Like, I want someone to help me organize there, but don't.
the can of worms was open. You know what I'm saying? Like the mess that I like so conveniently like ignore. All of a sudden could not be ignored anymore. Yeah, whatever. Don't touch. Just don't touch. Don't touch the can. Whatever. No, I am super, super grateful. I really, really am. But at the moment, it was hard to.
Because you still need more storage space.
We have a huge basement. It's not an excuse, but the basement is another can of worms. Anyway, so basically it brings to the front your my inability to have everything, the way it should be, whatever it is.
Right.
Whatever, it's a little uncomfortable. It's okay. I'll get over it. But that's what I'm saying, ownership. But if you come from the perspective of the Sicha of Hasidus, that Hashem owns his house. Hashem owns everything. And what a schos that people are celebrating Shabbos here. And it should be the most beautiful experience. They don't need to have a box of old books that was donated 2 years ago that's still sitting on the porch. There's no excuse for that. Just because you didn't get to it doesn't mean, so Hashem found someone else to get to it since you're busy with other stuff. But so I'm saying this ownership, this concept of ownership, to relinquish control, to realize that everything that we have really belongs to Hashem. And it's not just our money. It's not just our money, everything that we have. The clothes that we wear and everything, it really belongs to Hashem. And this is our mission, to show that everything, our time, 100%, that everything that we have belongs to Hashem. Everything.
But it doesn't mean that someone else would come in and take it, because it belongs to Hashem. That's the line you're saying. Like, it belongs to Hashem, but be careful. It doesn't mean that someone could say, like, you're into teaching, I'm walking to this person's house and it belongs to Hashem. So there is that boundary line that Hashem is here. Baba Kama, the whole Gemara is based on personal, like they have Gemaras about this, about Kaina and Aina. My grandson goes to Hefker, Kaina, all day. You go around, the concept of.
You can't walk in someone's house and say, "Oh, this belongs to Hashem, I'm taking it."
I think the concept is us as individual, that we have to be grateful that everything we got comes from Hashem, but the fact that someone else can't just take our stuff, that's what I'm saying, that's the personal space I was saying before. Like, there is something with owning something, why we have ownership, why we can't use the Torah, why we have Hashem, you see the Torah, there's a lot of transactions that happen.
Yes.
The land was bought from, like,
100%.
There was definitely a concept of transaction.
100%.
Like, not to take with me that, like, some people certainly say, well, then it's free for all. It's not free for all.
100%. So, like Maki said,
exactly. When people think very careful, does not mean that.
Right.
So there's permission. Right. No, but people say that, like,
someone else can't come into my house and say, "I'm taking this because it belongs to Hashem." Because
it's more for us to understand,
me to understand exactly.
But we still have ownership over it. Like she said, you can't go to someone's backyard.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Rifki Holtzberg, Allah Shalom, in Mumbai, India, right? So what happened was, there was a girl that got into trouble and was thrown into jail, whatever it is. And in order to help her get out of the country, Rifki Holt was at the Shiva. This woman came to Rifki's parents and brought her diamond ring and her clothing. And she said, I was in jail. I somehow got out, and I needed to leave the country. I needed to escape. I needed to get out. And Rifki gave me her diamond ring and her Shabbos clothes to get on the plane, because if she was dressed, like a rich woman with a diamond ring, no one would stop her, and she'd be able to get to Israel. So I'm saying, to give your diamond ring, you're obviously coming from a place of, this isn't really mine. Hashem lent it to me, and I'm lending it to her, and she'll give it back to me. She's borrowing it,
So in that sense, she didn't. I like that. I like that, because she did that with all her heart, with all her, she's not Machiav. Oh, Hashem is the owner anyway. That's what I'm talking about. I want to be able to give with my heart. Not because you own it anyway, therefore it doesn't even belong to me. So here. No, I want to be able to say, Hashem here, with love.
Well, go back to giving, Hashem is giving us up to serve him, which is the same concept. When we ask for things, we ask not for us to have it in order to serve. So she took a diamond ring and said, you gave me this diamond ring, but I'm going to use it to serve you, which is chesed, and help someone else. I'm not attacked. It's like it's a purpose of anything. Like I'm building a house, so if I'm going to use it for godly things, but still that was the tax.
For sure it was from her heart. For sure. Right.
I'm going to give you this.
Hashem is the owner of this ring. He didn't have to give it. He gave, even if he's the owner, and she took and
she used it for godliness.
With it. So beautiful. She went so above and beyond. Yes. That's so important.
But more than that, we
We
don't
talked
want to.
about the above and beyond.
Yes.
So why does she heard from her husband, like,
Right.
she was nowhere in the Torah where she has to go
Exactly.
and give a reason. But from the bottom of her pure heart,
Right.
she chose to make this decision.
Right.
And that I just think like what we're talking about.
Yeah.
A lot of parameters of when you have to give it,
Right. Right.
So you make that extra choice. And
Right.
make one and done.
So where does it come from? It comes from a place where you realize that our whole avodah is to show that Hashem is the owner of everything. That's what every time we do a mitzvah, we're showing that Hashem is in charge. Yeah.
Get extra revenue. Your
Right.
choice. It's not who you have to, you're not required,
Right.
but when you do it, it's like, just that it was, like, she had her own thought, no one told, like,
Right.
just that it was her own thought,
Right.
that shows how
That's a
much
gift.
she cared.
That's a gift to Hashem.
Yeah.
And
Coming from her own,
yes, I don't want that to get lost in you're the owner anyway. I want to be able to gift you, Ivishter.
But I'm saying everything that we have, everything that we have, every breath.
Right.
Every breath is Hashem gives it to us. And there's a mashal of that as well. There was a king who was traveling through the forest, and he stopped in a little inn, and the innkeeper was so hospitable and gave him took such good care of him. So as the king is leaving, the king gave him a beautiful tea set. Now this peasant, this innkeeper, he's not going to use the tea set on a regular basis because it's so precious. It's from the king, so he puts it way up high. But then when the king comes through his inn again, he says, "With this tea set that you gave me, I'm going to use it to serve you." So
Right.
I took care of it and I put it away and I so that when you come, and that's what we say. That's what the example is for nishmas. And then you gave me my mouth, my hands, my feet.
So we can't thank Hashem, but then we say, with everything you gave me, I will,
With everything that you gave me, I could use it. I could use my money and I could go to vacation, or I could spend it on who knows what. Or I could use it and say, Hashem, you're the owner. What do you want me to do with the money that you gave me? But of course, it's still our choice. We have free choice. What are we going to do with the gifts that Hashem gave us? 100%. Anyway, these three scenarios that we're talking about represent the three types of Yidden. The first is the easiest, the tzaddik. What is the tzaddik? The tzaddik is someone who gives his whole self to Hashem. That is like someone who says, I'm going to sell the tree to you. You have the whole tree, the fruits forever. It's a binding contract. I sold you the tree, it's done. What does what does a tzaddik do? A tzaddik says, I am relinquishing my ownership over my body, and I'm giving the whole entire tree, I'm giving the whole me to you. What does the tree represent, and what does the fruit represent? The tree represents my identity, my seichel, my midas, my innermost self, my opinions, the way I think, the power of the power of intellect, my 10 powers. That is the tree. And the fruit is what my seichel and midas produce. That is my thought, speech, and action, which are my garments, which is what I produce. The things that I do, the things that I say, and what I choose to dwell on. So a tzaddik, what does he do? A tzaddik, we didn't really discuss it as one of the three, but a tzaddik is someone who it's the first case was that I can't sell something to you that doesn't yet exist. A tzaddik is someone who, because his seichel and midas are perfect, the fruit exists. We are 100% sure, for sure, his behavior. For sure, he's giving his seichel and midas. His seichel and midas are perfect. For sure, his behavior is perfect. It all exists forever. And I sell you the tree now, and all the fruits forever belong to you. That is a tzaddik. A tzaddik is giving the whole tree. The whole tree he's giving to Hashem. Versus the rest of us, we say, me, my identity, there's me. And then Hashem, okay, I'll give you a fruit. I'm keeping the tree. I'm keeping the tree. I'm not selling you the tree. I'm giving you the fruit. And then we could discuss if the fruit is here. We'll discuss it already. But the first thing is something called kinyan haguf. I sell you the tree. All the future fruits belong to you because now you own the tree. This is a tzaddik. He never sins. He isn't capable of sinning. All future behaviors will be good. Why? Because he sold his very self to Hashem. His mind and his heart are in the hands of his divine soul. He only thinks godly things. His emotions are completely immersed in his love for Hashem. That is his identity. Okay? He transfers himself, all of his behaviors, everything to Hashem. It's a regular transaction. He sold you the tree. It's a done deal. The tzaddik is a done deal. He'll never sin. It's a done deal. He's perfect. His fruits will be perfect. It's done. What does it mean? What does it mean to be a tzaddik and to give yourself? To give yourself, like Rivki Holtzberg, right? It wasn't just she gave herself. That's what you're saying. You gave her heart. If you're giving your heart, you're giving your soul. You're giving your identity. That is a tzaddik. There's a story that I heard last Shabbos at the Shabbaton. I heard the story from Mushki Zaltzman. She shared the story. She said that there was a big chassid, Reb Mendel Futterfass, who was in jail. He was in Siberia for many years, and after Siberia, he came to live in Kfar Chabad in Israel. And the Bachurim, especially when he became older, they would all take turns to help him out. And one of the Bachurim, Rabbi Silverberg, so this is Rabbi Silverberg that you know from the Tanya, his older brother, Eli Nassim Silverberg, he would often help Reb Mendel Futterfass. And one time when his younger brother came, he brought him as well, Naftali Silverberg, right? So they often would ask Reb Mendel to tell them stories about Russia. And he told a certain story. And when Rabbi Naftali Silverberg came to Israel, so Eli Nassim Silverberg asked Rabbi Mendel Futterfass, can you please repeat the story to my younger brother? And he did. This is the story. I don't know if he was in jail, if he was in Siberia, exactly what the situation was, but Pesach was coming, and Rabbi Mendel Futterfass is worried, what's he going to do? He needs matzah for Pesach. And he's hoping and praying that his family will send him a package. And he knows for sure his family is trying to send him a package. But will it actually get him in time? Will it be opened by the authorities? And Baruch Hashem, he gets this package. It wasn't opened, and there's 6 matzahs inside. So he didn't eat all 6 matzahs because he said, "What? I don't know what's going to be next year. I don't know if I'm going to be so lucky next year that I get a package from my family. I'm going to eat 3 matzahs this year, and I'm going to save 3 matzahs for next year." Now, to save 3 matzahs for next year is a very hard thing to do, because if you just leave something in 1 second, someone's going to grab it. It wasn't, they weren't keeping the Rambam over there exactly. So he wraps up these other 3 matzahs, and he literally takes it with him wherever he goes. But there's one time that he can't take his matzahs with him. Once a week for 5 minutes, every prisoner gets to have an opportunity to take a shower. He can't take the matzahs with him into the shower. So what did he do? The biggest guy, the one who everyone was the most scared of, he went over to him and he said, I'll make a deal with you. I need you to watch my matzahs for 5 minutes a week. And in return, what can I give you? I'll give you half my breakfast, half my lunch, half my supper, every single day for the whole year. Just you should watch over my matzah. And then the next Pesach came, and guess what? He did get another package of matzah. So you could say, oh, what a waste. But he didn't say, but no, he said, I'll eat those 3 matzahs and I'll save these matzahs for next year, because who knows what's going to be next year. So I don't know how long this, but I know for sure from what Hasha said the story, for at least 2 years, he gave half of his food just so that he should be sure that he'll have matzah for Pesach. And he told the story. So Rabbi Naftali Silverberg said to Raman the Futbas, wow, unbelievable Mesiras Nefesh, to give away half your food for a whole 2 years just so that, just in case you don't have matzah. And Raman the Futbas looked at him like puzzled, like the Mesiras Nefesh, and it bothered Rabbi Naftali Silverberg. Why can't Raman the Futbas agree that it's Mesiras Nefesh to give up half your food? But in Russia, how much food do they have already? There was no gourmet meals. It bothered him. And once he was having a farbringing with other Bachar and whatever, and they were talking about it, and one Bachar said to him, he said, for a Mendel, matzah was like the most precious diamond. If you were in jail and you had the most precious diamond, and for 5 minutes a week you needed someone to watch it for you, you'd give half of your food to save the diamond. And therefore, Mendel doesn't even look at it like a Mesiras Nefesh, because it was so. His love for Hashem was so real and so deep and so great that that for him to do a mitzvah, like that was the greatest thing in the world. Like it wasn't even he didn't even feel that it's so difficult for him that it's Mesiras Nefesh, because he was so in love with Hashem with the opportunity to do another mitzvah. That's a tzaddik. He gave the tree. He gave the tree, not just his thought, speech, and action. Because we know from Tanya that thought, when the thought, speech, and action, if you're perfect in thought, speech, and action, that's a Beinoni. But here, it's not just a thought, speech, and action. The tree itself, you give it to Hashem. Hashem, Hashem, you're in charge. You own me, and I love you, and I give you my everything, and it's your mitzvah, and I love you, and I'll do anything in the world to make sure, for the 1% chance that I won't get a package for my family, I'm gonna give half my food for the year, just so I should be able to for sure have matzah on Pesach, because I love you so much. That's a tzaddik. The tzaddik gives the tree, the whole tree.
He has family today? He has Enoch? He has descendants?
I think so.
What comes out of such
Okay, next category. Now comes, remember we said, okay, now comes the category of, we're gonna skip the Beinoni, we're gonna go to the Rasha V'Taivlai. In Tanya, Tanya, this is exactly where we are. We're in the middle of talking about the Rasha, and then we're going to go on to the Beinoni. So we said that in a Rasha, there's many, many different levels. And you could be a Rasha V'Taivlai, someone who, just like I said, once in 10 years, I fall asleep at the wheel. Even if it's very, very infrequent, and it's just a small little thing. What is the third one? The frequency, if it's a severe or not severe, and then there was one a third point. Okay, all come to me.
I know.
Ah, one is from this notebook or in this notebook. So that's not an excuse that you're still in the category of a Rasha. I think it's in a different notebook.
Frequency. Even if it happens once in 10 years, you don't know when it's.
Oh no, here it is. I have it. How severe, how frequently, and how much of me how much of me? My thought, my speech, or my action. Sometimes even if the Yetzer Hara takes hold just of my speech or just of my thought or just of my action, it's already in the category of a Rasha. But you could have a person who most of the time, his thought, speech, and action are wonderful. Right? You could still be in the category of Rasha v'Tevlei. It could be your teacher. It could be it could be even great people that are still in the category of Rasha v'Tevlei because they don't have perfect control. So, okay. So what's this Rasha v'Tevlei? Hashem, I'm not giving you my tree. I can't give you my identity. But I could give you fruit. I give you my thought, I give you my speech, I could give you action, I could give you fruit, I give you my levushim, I could give you fruit. But I could only give you fruit that exists right now. I can't give you fruit from next season because I'm in the category of a Rasha v'Tevlei. I don't know what challenge I'm going to be faced with next year and if I'm going to be able to withstand it or not. So therefore, I can't give you the fruit from next season. I could only 1 minute at a time. Presently, right now, even if I'm angry because you threw out my whatever it was when you were cleaning the porch and I needed it, and I could control my anger, Hashem, I gave you a fruit. 1 day at a time. While tzaddik, a tzaddik doesn't have the struggle. He doesn't have to be told, don't do an aveira, just like you don't have to tell a person, don't walk in the street in front of a truck. Don't put your hand on the fire. As simple as that. A tzaddik will never come to do an aveira because it's not even a test for him. And to tell him to do a mitzvah is also not, you don't have to tell him. Because just like, we have no problem eating sushi, he has no problem doing a mitzvah. It's enjoyable for him. It's a pleasure for him. Okay. But now you have the in-between. The Beinoni is in between. The tzaddik gave Hashem the tree and the fruit for all eternity. Hashem can have the fruit for all eternity because he's so perfect in the inside that for sure anything that's going to be produced, his thought, speech, and action is all going to be perfect. A Rasha v'Tevlei, even the greatest level of a Rasha, is telling Hashem, I can't know what tomorrow, if tomorrow, what's going to be tomorrow. I could only make a kinyan, could only transfer ownership of fruit that exists right now. Let's tell you the fruit that I have right now. That's it. 1 fruit at a time. That's a Rasha v'Tevlei. Then there's a Beinoni. Beinoni is in between. What's a Beinoni? Hashem, I'm going to give you my tree. I'm going to give you my tree, not for everything. I'm going to give you my tree for the potential of the future fruit. I still have my identity. I can't give you, I'm still me. I still have struggles. I still have an animal soul. I still have taivus. I still like, whatever it is. But I'm giving you the tree for the purpose of the fruit. What is that? What does that represent? A Beinoni is different than the greatest Rasha v'Tevlei. What's the difference? A Rasha v'Tevlei, okay, he only did one Aveira once in 10 years. He lost control once in 10 years. What's the difference between the Rasha v'Tevlei and the Beinoni? The Beinoni, when he davens, he has such a love for Hashem. He has such emotion for Hashem that it's true in the inside, his tree is imperfect. The tzaddik, the inside, the seichel and the midas are perfect. His emotion, the emotion and the love for Hashem is perfect. But the Beinoni, in the emotion, it's not just, okay, thought, speech, and action, and no emotion. When the Beinoni davens, you almost can't even tell the difference between him and the tzaddik, because he does have a fiery passion and emotion for Hashem, for love for Hashem when he's davening. When a Beinoni is davening, you can't know the difference between a Beinoni and a tzaddik because he also has the emotion. The difference is that the Beinoni, after he davens, right, it's not constant. What is it like? It's like it's freezing cold outside, and you make a fire in the fireplace for a few hours, and then even when the fire goes out, the room is still warm for another few hours. This is a Beinoni. A Beinoni, when he's davening, that fire is burning like the fire of a tzaddik. Then when the davening is over, you still have the warmth of the davening to last for a whole entire day to ensure that the fruit, that there will be a delicious fruit. You could almost guarantee that all the fruit will be good. So this is what it means. Go ahead.
Stuff like the Kedusha
Ah,
does help, but
okay. So that's the third one. What is it? That's the third one. We're not there yet. The first thing was that's number 3. Halacha number 1 is I can't sell fruit that I don't have. That's the Russia. The Russia says, Hashem, I can't sell my thought, speech, and action of tomorrow. I don't know what's going to be tomorrow. I can't guarantee it because I struggle. I don't know what struggle you can give me tomorrow. But what I could do is I could sell you the fruit right this minute, I could control my anger, and I could give you a fruit. I could control my thought, I could control my speech, I could control my action. Even a Russia, or a non-Beinoni, or not yet Beinoni, or working to be a Beinoni, does have control of thought, speech, and action most of the time. Especially if it's, because we said the Russia is a huge spectrum, right? So I could only give you the fruit of right now. The second level is level of a Beinoni. I skipped around levels, but basically that was in halacha. That was the first halacha that we brought. The second halacha that we brought was that I am making a transaction. I am giving you ownership of the fruit for next season. How am I doing that? Because I'm giving you the tree. I'm selling you the tree for the fruit. So I'm giving you some of my inside. I am giving you my davening. I do have some emotion of when I daven, and that emotion is so strong that will ensure that the fruit that's going to come is all going to be delicious fruit. Because the Beinoni were so sure, of course, there's a possibility that he could sin, but it's not going to happen because he has that strong fire when he davens that warms his thoughts, speech, and action for the whole entire day, or till the next davening, right? So that is the Beinoni. The Beinoni is someone who I'm not giving you full ownership of the tree. I'm giving you ownership of the tree for the fruit. And then comes the third halacha. So it's saying there are 3 types of people, the tzaddik, Beinoni, and Rasha, and there were 3 halachas. Halacha 1, halacha 2, and halacha 3 this is the most amazing thing of all. That is that if I make a pledge, I'm going to give 10%. Well, true, this 10% is meiser, so we have to take a different example. If Hashem, if you make this business deal successful, I'm going to give you 50% or whatever it is. I'm going to make a big donation, whatever it is. So that doesn't exist. But because I said it, I'm bound to it. I have to keep it. So for those of us that are still striving to be a Beinoni, that are still in the category, I can't sell you the future fruit because I don't know what it's going to be. I can't sell you my tree. I'm not selling you my tree for the purpose of the fruit because I'm not there yet. I don't have that. I don't have the strong emotion, the strong love like a Beinoni does. But what could I yes do? What could I yes do? When a Yid makes a commitment, I am going to do a mitzvah. The fact that he made that commitment and now he is bound to it, Hashem is going to help him fulfill it.
And he does. Really does.
So what's the Rebbe's approach?
And he doesn't, when you make a commitment to do a mitzvah, you have to fight through in the beginning to cement that commitment. But once you spent enough time at it, Hashem really helps you. He won't let a day go by where if you forget or something comes up, he'll help you fulfill your commitment. But in the beginning, you have to fight for it. That's what I noticed.
I find that in the beginning it's easier, and as time goes on, you like
Cool.
yeah.
So the Rebbe's approach is, we're regular people. We might not be Beinim yet. The Rebbe's approach was just keep doing. When people would come to ask, oh, I need a tikkun for this, and I did this wrong, and I did that wrong, and I got angry, and I did that. The Rebbe's approach was, instead of sitting and dwelling, I am a good person, I'm not a good person, I did have self-control, I didn't have self-control, I am a good example for my kids, or I messed up this time again, and every time the kids come home, I'm only, I can't hold it together, la la la. So okay, and I'm depressed about it, and now I'm shut down for the next week. Come back next week. But the Rebbe's approach was, instead of fighting the bad, just keep committing to do another mitzvah. You'll be so busy doing mitzvahs that there won't be any time for any negativity. And just like when a person is, when you're doing a project, you're in the middle of a project, you're in the middle of doing something, you're so busy with what you're doing, you forget to eat. Not that your appetite disappeared. As soon as the project's over, oh, I'm starving. No, you didn't. You still love your sushi, or whatever it is, the cheese blintzes, whatever it is. You still love the food, but you were so busy with what you were doing that you completely overwhelmed the enemy, and you're not thinking about food right now because you're so busy serving Hashem.
It teaches that if a person has pain, that what they sometimes do is they'll cause pain in a different place because the mind can't think two things at the same time.
Yeah.
So they'll sometimes do just a little something somewhere else to take away the real pain. So that's what you're telling us. Do a mitzvah because you can't do something bad while you're doing a mitzvah.
Right.
You're yeah.
Oh,
So the second you take upon yourself a pledge,
we're scared to take on pledges. I don't know where that comes from, like maybe the confession thing.
That what if you don't do it all completely?
Or
Right.
What
if I forget?
I can't make
Right.
it's like too.
So don't say I'm going to as much as I can.
No, but then it's better for me not to make the commitment because the commitment to
Gives you anxiety.
okay. But if you're saying like this, if a person feels down, I messed up, right? Instead of languishing in the misery of guilt, you want to get out. A sure way to get out: make a commitment. That's not a commitment you're going to keep forever. A commitment. I am going to daven today. I'm going to say one parak of Tehillim, a small thing. And as soon as I do that, that's a fruit for Hashem. That's a fruit for Hashem. And I could give
right.
right.
For the next
What did I do so I don't do it again?
forever.
Yes.
Right.
That's the goal.
Give Hashem a fruit. You feel like you messed up, look out the window, see the tree, and say, Hashem, the best way to get out of this, the only way to get out of this is give Hashem a fruit. If you give Hashem a fruit, a thought, a speech, an action of a mitzvah, a commitment, if you make a commitment, then even if it doesn't exist yet, Hashem will help you. Hashem will help you fulfill it, and you have because you're obligated because you said you're going to do it. It's easy, but it's a mind shift. It's a mind shift. It's better for me to make a commitment. I'm going to do something and then get busy with it, than sitting and feeling guilty for the next week.
When did it appear to the others this year that when you want to go in the right way and you want to do it in the way of the mitzvahs, that Hashem actually assists you in it, and if a person goes the opposite way, Hashem doesn't assist them in the opposite way, but He won't block them. So with the mitzvah, you actually get assistance from Hashem.
Okay. There's one very, very interesting point also that the Rebbe brings here, and he says that a tzaddik is called a eved, a servant of Hashem. Because a tzaddik is a servant, a slave, whatever you want to say. He gave himself over completely, just like a slave sounds worse, but whatever. A eved is the best word because that's the Hebrew word. A tzaddik is an eved for Hashem. He doesn't have his own will. All he wants is Hashem. A regular person goes to work and they don't give 10% meiser. A tzaddik wakes up in the morning, I want to give meiser, so therefore I'll go to work. It's all for it's everything he's doing is for Hashem. A Beinani is called a shliach. And it's very interesting because the Frierdiker Rebbe sent shluchim, and the Rebbe said that every single one of us is a shliach. The term shliach is different than an eved. What's a shliach? Okay, so what's difference? A shliach is a person. It's an independent person. I'm still Chani Garari. I'm an independent person, but my behavior belongs to someone else. My behavior belongs to the one who sent me. For example, if a person wants to marry someone or divorce someone, they could send a shliach on their behalf. The shliach acts on their behalf. Their behavior, what they do to sign the marriage contract or the divorce contract, is binding, and the shliach, he agrees to do a mission, and you are the extension of the person who sent you.
You know that Eliezer was a shliach for Avraham Avinu, but it also says that he was a servant of Avraham Avinu. It can be both.
Yeah. Interesting. It's interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so we have to work on that.
I'm like, because Tzaddik in my mind, like, I can't have him to be another Hashem.
Okay, so we're still showing the difference between a shliach. So if you're an eved, then you're for sure a shliach. Let's just say that. Okay, so a shliach, if the shliach deviates from his mission, then there's no more mission. If I send the shliach to go and purchase this piece of land, and he goes and purchases a different piece of land, you're not my shliach because you didn't behave the way you didn't do what I asked you to do. So a Beinani is still a human being with his animal soul and his ego and his passion and his love for whatever, but he has such a love. He has such a love for the Rebbe, or such a love for Hashem, that he's in complete control of his behavior.
He may have the struggle, but he never acts on it.
So the chiddush that we're learning, because we always said that the Beinani is in between a tzaddik and a rasha because he struggles equally like a rasha. But today we're learning something new. And the reason why we didn't learn it yet is because we didn't get to Beinani and Tanya yet. We're only Parakid Aleph when we're talking about the rasha. But there's already something very, very special about this Sicha that's new for me, or maybe I knew it, but now it brings it up front center. And there's a difference between a Beinani and the greatest rasha of a Taivlai, the highest level of a rasha, is that a Beinani also has the heart. He also has the love. He also has the love. He's not just, it's very, very hard. It's very, very hard that when a person feels boiling angry inside of them, and to still say the right thing, act the right way, think the right things is murder. It's just very, very hard. So yeah, it's true. It's true that's similar between the Beinani and the rasha. They're both struggling, but the Beinani struggle is much less because this Beinani also has the love, which he gets by davening, which lasts all day. So I'm saying if you love the person, then the love overpowers. You didn't win the battle, but you overpower the enemy, and the enemy is scared. You scare the enemy, and the enemy's running away. So this is the difference between a Beinani and the highest level of a rasha. The Beinani has some level, depending, because of his davening, he has some passion, he has some love. So if you have love and passion, and that counterbalances the anger, that it's not so difficult to control thought, speech, and action, and you could basically guarantee that the thought, speech, and action will be good. So I'm selling you the tree. I'm selling you the tree for the fruit. I could basically guarantee the fruit because I could also, because as long as I'm able to give part of the tree, and I can't give my whole tree, I can't give my whole stuff like a tzaddik. The fact that I'm giving part of the tree is already, we could already close the deal. It's already we could already make a done deal. But
The Benini gives the tree or not?
the Benini gives the tree for the fruit. I'm not giving the full tree.
Okay.
You can't have, it's still mine. But Hashem, I'll give you some love. Full love, that's a full tree, that's an Evid. So a regular person like me and you, we transfer our behaviors to Hashem minute by minute.
You say like me, I'm sorry.
No, but the regular people. But when it comes, this is what we say, when it comes to a mitzvah, if I make a resolution, then I'll be able to keep it, and I'm like a Beinoni. I'm a shliach, right? And then I'm a shliach. I'm putting myself in the level of a shliach because Hashem commanded me to do something. Hashem gave me a mitzvah. Hashem gave me a mission. And now that I'm Hashem shliach, then I for sure, like a Beinoni, for sure there will be fruit. Because there's two parts of me. There's my identity as an animal soul, which usually, is taking control. But it's not a stira. Instead of fighting with my animal soul, it's not a stira, because guess what? Animal soul, guess what? There's also the animal soul isn't my only true identity. There's another identity inside of me, and that is my neshama. And that neshama was commanded by Hashem to do mitzvahs. And now that I took upon myself this commitment to do this extra mitzvah, or to do a mitzvah that I'm obligated to do, and I become now I'm in the category of a shliach. A shliach is a Beinoni, and now I am sure that there'll be fruit. And that's why you could meet a secular Jew. Okay, 2 more minutes. You could meet a secular Jew and you could ask him to put on tefillin or light Shabbos candles, and he'll say yes, because it's not a stira. Doing a mitzvah is not a stira to all my pleasures and all the other things that I want to do with my life. Because there's two me's. There's my animal soul, fine, but there's also my godly soul, and even my animal soul understands that I have a true identity inside of me of a godly soul. So even my animal soul doesn't mind to do a mitzvah, because I'm not asking you to stop eating sushi. I'm not asking you to give up your pleasure. Have your pleasure, but this reminds me with Merrill. Merrill was 35 years practicing Christianity, whatever it is. My husband never said to her, "Give up your Christian ways of thinking." He said, "Keep whatever you want to keep, no problem. We're not touching it. Just light Shabbos candles." And then by itself, all the Christian ideas went away. We're in the let's say the highest level of a Russia, whatever it is. We're in that find ourselves in the Russia category. Don't get depressed. Don't get sad about it. It's okay. You have the pleasure. No problem. No problem. Keep your pleasure. Keep it.
There was this guy who he kept wanting to find that connection to Hashem, and he tried every drugs and everything. He was just yearning for that connection. He didn't know how to reach it. And because of what I learned from the Rebbe, I said, just do a mitzvah. That's how you connect. There's no magic potion. It's just another mitzvah.
Yeah. And if you committed, you're a shliach, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And the commandment empowers you to be able to do it. And then that is a transaction that's a transaction that could hold, and you're obligated to it, and you will succeed. And this is the lesson that the Rebbe made tremendous emphasis on positive action, on the time of tzayim, light Shabbos candles, whatever people ask for a tikkun, whatever it is, Rebbe just said, just study Torah, action, keep moving. It's true you never sold the tree. That's okay.
Right.
It's okay. You make a pledge, it takes hold. And when you're so busy with the Miftzayim, you're gonna, even if you could be drowning, you could be drowning with the struggles of the Yetzer Hara, and at the same time, you could be going on Miftzayim. It's not a stira. Because the animal soul owns me and the godly soul also owns me. And the Rebbe, many times when he would speak, he would say that you should increase in Limud Torah. So this individual, every time the Rebbe said Isaf Limud Torah, he would add another 5 minutes. He came to the Rebbe and said, I have no more time left. Because every time you say I should add in Torah, I add another 5 minutes in Torah. Now I have no more time left. So the Rebbe smiled, the Rebbe liked it, they took it so seriously. The Rebbe said, you could add 5 minutes, not just in quantity, but also in quality.
So true.
So basically, we could all, even if we feel like we're on the level of a Russia, we could all act like a Beinoni. I have a neshama. I'm a Jew. Yeah, we're done basically. Thank you so much. Yeah. And when a person feels like they're falling, what was the Rebbe's approach? What did the Rebbe say? Just learning Asa Chasidis. In Mitten Tag, in Mitten Nacht, doesn't matter. Whenever you have opportunity, learn more Chasidis. And the more light, the more light, the more light, then the less you'll be busy with the negativity. You're looking for a way. If you're looking for a way.
More clear, eventually it's going to be more clear, you know.
Yes. If you're looking for a way to have self-control, which is basically a Beinoni, and if you're looking for a way to eliminate negativity, that is through taking upon yourself a commitment. Even if you're in the level of a Russia, it doesn't matter. Because as soon as I pledge a fruit, that's it. I'm obligated. So and I'm sure that fruit will be produced, and I'm sure that that's a transaction that is binding. Yeah, so I could love my physicality, I could love my vacation, whatever it is, but at the same time, I need to help another yid. A Beinoni is a shliach, who's someone who's committed in action. And the Rebbe made all of us shluchim. Every single yid is a shliach. And every yid could take upon himself another mitzvah because my neshama is the real me. It's my real identity. And this is our mission. This is a practical mission that to give Hashem ownership, to give myself over, to give my actions over, my thoughts over, my speech over, to give everything over to Hashem. And if we make that commitment, then Hashem will help us to be a successful shliach and to be able to do it. Okay, I know still have to marinate.
Yes.
You can't give like one sentence to say what the takeaway should be.
Okay, the takeaway is like this. There are 3 options. You could either be a tzaddik, where you give Hashem the ownership of your entire tree. That's a tzaddik. Mm-hmm. A Beinoni, I have some level of love, some level of passion and love. So I could give Hashem, I'm giving you my tree for the fruit. I can't give you my full tree. I still have my identity somewhat, but I give you my tree for the purpose of the fruit. And then there's a Russia, or the level of a Russia, or the highest level of a Russia, or all the levels of it doesn't matter wherever you are in the spectrum, that Hashem, I might not be able to give you my tree. And I can't give you fruit that doesn't exist yet. But A, I could give you fruit that I have right now. And B, I could give you fruit that doesn't exist yet by committing to it, because as soon as I commit to it, I'm bound by it. And if I'm bound by it as Hashem shliach, then I'm kind of jumping into the level of a Beinoni, and I'm taking upon myself this commitment, and then I am sure the fruit, they might not exist yet, but I made a commitment to give fruit, and I am sure that the fruit will be produced. And that is a binding transaction because I made that commitment. So if you find yourself in even if you find yourself in the level of a Russia, you could at any moment put yourself into the category of a Beinoni by being a shliach and by committing to do a mitzvah, to give Hashem a fruit. The fruit doesn't exist, but I made that commitment, and thereby I'm a shliach, and thereby I'm in the category of a Beinoni. Because in this week's parsha, it's talking about all the laws of when transactions are binding. This whole concept of a fruit, if it is a sale or if it's not a sale, is all in this week's parsha.
So it sounds like it's talking about the Russia. It would help the Russia.
You take dry.
I'm saying most of us are in the level of a Russia v'tayvlei, striving to be a Beinoni.
In Tanya, where most of us are in the category of that Russia, which means not the Russia like Haman, like in Tanya was Russia.
So what we're learning today is at any moment,
You can still get out of that.
I could go. I'm not stuck. I could put myself. I could jump. I could jump to the level of Beinoni. I could jump out of Russia and jump to Beinoni. It's true. It's true that usually I can't sell you fruit that doesn't exist yet. But if I promise that I'm going to, produce fruit, then that is binding. And automatically I'm a shliach, because automatically I took by myself this mission, and I will definitely produce those fruit just like the Beinoni. I'm selling the tree. I'm selling the tree because of the potential because of the potential the tree has to bear fruit. And just like the Beinoni, we are sure that it's a transaction. We are sure that I could sell the tree for the fruit. That's a Beinoni. Here too, I'm not selling the tree, but I am the fruit that I'm selling the fruit. Here I could sell the fruit. Usually I can't sell fruit that don't exist. But in this case, if I made a commitment to do a mitzvah, if I make a commitment to do a mitzvah, then I could sell, so to speak, or I could be sure, and that transaction is binding, and I am sure that there will be fruit like the Beinoni.
What I find it easier to make a commitment for a positive mitzvah than to avoid a negative.
Good. So yes, absolutely. Forget the negative. You can't. It's too hard to fight with the negative. I'm not going to get angry.
Yeah.
You feel your blood boiling? Go commit to do a mitzvah. Put a dollar in the pushka. Go daven. Did I daven today?
Say Tehillim.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't be angry and say Tehillim at the
same time.
Whatever you focus on,
Yes.
Hashem, what fruit am I giving you now? I'm being your shliach. I'm committing to give you another fruit, and that is the best way that is the best way for two things: for self-control and to not to not be negative. My pleasure. Good to see you, Risa.
You bring your work home?
I have a computer to do that.
Oh, you will see the work home.
Yeah.